Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. It is exactly 16 after 9 o'clock and we're now going to be talking women empowerment. And we are so pleased to be joined by Fayruz Mohamed. She is the national chairperson for SANZAF. So this indeed is a very interesting discussion, and I have no doubt in my mind that the event itself is going to be very, very meaningful, very especially for us girls. Fayruz, Assalamu alaikum, welcome to the program.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sister Julie. Thank you for having me. And yes, I'm very excited to be sharing this platform with you this morning. Jazakallah for inviting
Alhamdulillah, me. Alhamdulillah, as am I, to be chatting with you this morning. This is very interesting indeed. Is it the first time that SANZAF embarks on something like this? A forum particularly, obviously targeted at women, probably upskilling them or making them aware of their financial situation. And I see that this is going to be a panel discussion addressing women navigating the Islamic financial industry in South Africa. How did this all come about?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. So, Sister Julie, well, it all started when Yasmina and myself, being the national chair and herself being the CEO, we were recognized by Woman Eye, which is conferred by Cambridge in the UK, sorry. And it's an organization that recognizes, celebrates, and promotes women within Islamic business and finance within the industry. And what happened was that when we realized, at least when I realized that surely it cannot just be two women within South Africa that can be recognized, things surely need to change. And I'm sure there are many more women within the IBF industry that, that needs to be recognized and promoted for the work they do. So that's how the idea somehow was milling in my mind for about 2 years. And then when iConsult had an international conference in Cape Town this year, I kind of made the strategic decision to launch the IBF at the exact same time, because my dear friend, Dr. Iram Sabah, who is a pioneer and a leader in the IBF industry in Pakistan, was also invited to attend the conference. I then asked her if she would, if she'd be willing to, chat to our women and, be our guest speaker. And she, by the person that she is, definitely didn't hesitate. And that made me realize that we needed to, establish a platform where women within the IBF sector has a space where they can share knowledge, they can uplift each other. There's opportunities, from a sisterhood perspective, support each other. We can foster development, network. And I think that's something that we really underestimate, is the power of networking. Because you raise your profile, you're front of mind when people, think of opportunities. So that's how the IBF forum, got established, just through the idea that we needed to get more women, recognized by this Woman Eye that's conferred by Cambridge in the UK. So inshallah, when more women come on our forum, we'll be able to, try and uplift them, support them, encourage them, and, mentoring opportunities, etc., so that we can eventually, get them recognized as well. Because I don't know if you know much of the IBF sector. It's very niche, very small.
I was about to ask you to please explain, what does IBF stand for? And does that also perhaps mean that if it's purely financial, people like myself from the media would not necessarily find a space in a forum like that? And people and women in other, in other sectors of community or their specific fields or professions? Did you hear my question, Fayruz?
Yes, I did. Can you hear me, Sister Julie?
Yes, I can. Okay, please go ahead.
So firstly, just to say what IBF stands for. So it stands for is...
Okay, you're breaking up there. Let's just see if we can perhaps reconnect there with Sister Fayruz. An interesting discussion
for them.
that I would
However,
like to follow. Fayruz, are you back with me?
yes, I am. Can you hear
Okay, can
me?
you just, I can hear you now. Can you just please start all over again? Because we didn't
No
get the
problem.
first part of your response.
Okay, no problem. So IBF stands for Islamic Business and Finance. And what the forum basically specifically was established for to create a platform for women within the IBF sector. We have many women forums, for example, that is around women empowerment with different sectors, but we realized that, IBF is a very male dominated and very small industry, although very developing and very growing. However, we find that there aren't many women within the sector. And if there are, and I'm sure they are, they're not really recognized and we don't really know who they are. So what I realized was that, and it all stemmed from a speech that I needed to do for the international conference, and I needed to do some research to find out exactly, what the role and impact the South African women are playing in the IBF sector. And that resulted in me doing some research. And from that research, I obviously got some information, which I collated and then shared, at that
Wow.
platform, and which I will also do, at our conference, but maybe just not a conference, sorry, at our launch in Joburg. So what we did was we launched the IBF forum, SANZAF'S IBF forum, in May 2022, this year, on the 10th of May, alhamdulillah. And I must say, the sector, the launch, or at least the forum, isn't just specifically for IBF, although the establishment is just for now. We do intend for women like yourself in the media sector, because I think as women we can play a role, and we're all somehow intertwined and interfaced together. And I think women generally have generic kind of challenges, whether you in whichever industry that you're in. And I do think that opportunities are sort of, they cross over within sectors, because I find that, the challenges that women somehow have, they tend to not want to share them. And I don't know why. Somehow, I think women have this, and you always hear in terms of this syndrome where people kind of fear that, they're not supposed to be in that space. And for the lack of the word, I can't kind of recall what it is. But it's around about that in terms of sharing the platform, sharing the space, the experiences, the knowledge, the support. And I think it's very much the support and opportunities. I can tell you, Sister Julie, I'm not where I am without another woman having given me an opportunity, whether it is a board position, whether it is an interview where I started my articles. Somehow a female has always played a part in that. And that's what we need to do. We need to uplift other women. And that's how the idea somehow came from 2 years of being recognized with Women I. And I thought to myself, other women need to be recognized as well. And inshallah, through this platform, we're wanting other women to come on board. And even if they don't want to be recognized by the Women I alumni organization, what they can do is just, share their experiences and their knowledge and network with other women. And we women love to network. We love to socialize. We love to interact, because that's our innate nature. We love to chat and talk and share, our challenges. And somehow, if you just share a challenge, they usually say that's half of your problem solved. And you never know. And most likely, somebody else is going to solve the problem for you, because they most likely have gone through it already. So why, struggle and, have all these challenges all to yourself? We're there to share and support each other.
Absolutely. Not all women necessarily share your point of view, but that's the thinking. That's a very open-minded thinking. It's about taking the women in your life or the women in your community along with you. And that's how we empower entire communities and nations, obviously. And that's the right way to go. So very quickly, I'd like you to tell me a little bit about the Women I alumni, and then talk to us about this upcoming event, which is happening next Friday, which sounds pretty exciting. Who should be attending? Is it by invitation only? And why should you be attending as well? So let's start with Women I first.
So Sister Julie, Women I is an organization that focuses on the promotion, celebration of women within the IBF sector specifically, because they've realized that women are not recognized for the role and the impact they make within the IBF sector. Like I said, it's very male dominated, and there are many women these unsung heroes that are standing behind these male individuals that need to be recognized, promoted, and supported for the work that they do. So that's what Women I does. And they usually have a ranking system, which is very much scientific. They push in certain elements within your role, pushes out a number, and you get ranked from 1 to 300. So for the last 2 years, alhamdulillah, both the CEO of SANZAF as well as myself have been recognized and ranked within Women I. So for last year, it usually happens in December, she was ranked number 17 and I was ranked number 6, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Congratulations.
Thank you. Alhamdulillah. It's usually the work of other people that we kind of get recognized for. But alhamdulillah, we try and want other women to be recognized as well on this platform. So inshallah, that's my dream. And then in terms of the launch is happening, it's actually happening next Saturday.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for that correction. Thank you. I keep saying Friday.
Yeah, yes. No, it's happening next Saturday on the 12th of November. And it's happening at Fairlands, West Bank Building, Centre Court. And they need to RSVP by the 8th of October. Mainly just because of myself, because women love goodie bags, and I'm coming with the goodie bags from Cape Town.
Oh,
and I'm leaving
wow.
on Thursday morning, so I need to check along with him. So I need the women to RSVP by the 8th. So it's the invitation is actually open to everybody. We've launched it, or at least released it on our social media platforms, etc. We have obviously sent specific invitations to some individuals. Our guest speaker is Fatima Bauda, who is the managing director of 274 and also the founder of the 274 group. And I've had the privilege of interacting with Fatima a couple of times, and what a vibrant and dynamic woman. If there's anyone that has broken any glass ceilings, like they say, it's certainly her. So I look really forward to her sharing, her journey and her perspectives on, women navigating in the IBF sector.
So let me come in here and agree with you regarding this dynamic sister of ours, Fatima Bauda. Alhamdulillah, Salam Media covered their launch at the JSC last Friday. I've chatted with her several times. She's been a guest on my show, and you are absolutely correct when you say it's a privilege being in the space of a woman like Fatima. So I look forward to obviously attending. I certainly will be there, but I will RSVP. Let's also understand what else and who else is going to be speaking at the event and what can we expect. As I've indicated, this seems to be targeted mainly at women in finance, but for people from the medical fraternity, for example, or people like myself, is there going to be something for me, something of interest, something that I can take away with and start understanding where and how I should be empowering myself in the financial sense of the word?
Shukran, Sister Julie. Absolutely. I think the platform is open for any woman who want to actually empower herself. And I think from that perspective, we always need to be empowering ourselves, whether it is from a financial perspective, whether it is from a medical or any background that may, per se. But I do think that, the takeaways from this platform would be very much around, women just networking with other women, trying to establish those initial kind of, opportunities and networking individuals strategically that you need to have, in your kind of space. Because I always say, it's very important to surround yourself with women that are very, I don't want to say similar, like-minded, because somehow if you're just all financial people, then the only thing you kind of talk about is just finance, but more in terms of like-hearted, and another woman has told me, having like-hearted women, in your circle, because women that support you, that encourage you, that motivates you, that's just there as a listening ear. Because I find how, sometimes in the corporate world, women tend to be, and, we always don't like to speak about it because somehow, but it does exist, the jealousy amongst women. And we need to work through that, because obviously if we do feel that somehow you feel jealous about another female, it's maybe just there's something about her or position, etc., that you maybe just admiring or aspiring to want to become. And, somehow you want to then connect with that kind of individual to find out, what did they do to eventually get to the position that they're in? What strategically can they share in terms of advice, and especially, what not to do? Because we always hear, people always speak about their successes, But I always like to speak about, what are the failures, because you learn from people's mistakes, so to
Absolutely.
ensure that you don't
Absolutely.
repeat them. And I always
Absolutely.
like to share about the things, that you shouldn't do, whether it's a working mom, whether you just want to focus on your career, etc. And everybody, we're in different spaces in our lives. And what's important to me right now may not have been important to me 10 years ago. I may have been very ambitious then, but now I'm in a space where, I want balance of life. I want, uh, I want to eat healthy. I want to live happily. I want to, be grounded, etc. And you then connect with different women, in this space. So that's what I want to create for women, is to have an opportunity where there's a platform where you can share and just connect with other women, whether they're not in your same industry, because it doesn't really matter. Because we, as women, we built in more or less the same way. So I do think we have very similar innate natures, and that's how we can, support each other and motivate one another.
Fayruz, I so look forward to attending this Women's Forum next week, Saturday. I certainly will be RSVPing as soon as I get home after the show. I'm super,
Inshallah.
super excited. It was wonderful talking to you. I kind of, when I looked at the invitation, I thought to myself, oh goodness me, this is just going to be a 2 3 minute interview and over and done with. But you truly are a very inspiring, motivating woman, and I certainly would like to meet you in person. And I know that this forum is going to offer a lot for like-minded women. Earlier on in the course of the interview, you spoke about there is jealousy amongst women, and I concur. Absolutely, we're humans, and there is that element within all of us. But I would have used a different word, but it's not permissible on air. So let's put it aside.
You can share it with me on Saturday, next
I,
Saturday,
cert-
inshallah.
I certainly will, and I so look forward to it. I look forward to meeting you, Fatima Vada, and a whole host of other powerful women. And I know that it's going to be some, you never ever walk away from an event like this by not having learned one little thing. It doesn't matter how minute it is, but you walk away feeling, feeling 10 feet tall. You feel stroked, you feel loved, you feel empowered, you feel acknowledged. And that is why I love attending these type of forums. And undoubtedly there will be a learning there as well. So thank you indeed. Thank you very, very much for talking with us this morning on the show. Thank you indeed to SANZAF for making this possible, inshallah. And we look forward to many more of these type of events for our sisters in the name of education, awareness, and empowerment. Shukran so very much for being with us on the show this morning.
Absolutely. Jazakallah so much for having me on your show. And maybe just to share, we're also launching the Durban one on the
Oh,
26th.
wow.
So maybe they can just
Okay.
save the date for Durban, inshallah. But for now, we're doing Gauteng next weekend. And I look so forward to meeting with you and connecting with you too, Sister Julie.
Inshallah. Amin. Go well. Keep us in your dua. Assalamu alaikum to you.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
That was Sister Fayruz Mohamed. She is obviously the chairperson of the national chairperson of SANZAF, talking to us about a very important event in the lives of us ladies, and it's the SANZAF IBF Women's Forum, which is happening on Saturday. I kept saying Friday, but it's Saturday, the 12th of November, 2022. It is happening at Fairlands West Bank Building Centre Court. That's just off the highway near the Cresta Shopping Centre. And if you would like to attend this event, it is open to all. The important thing is to RSVP by the 8th of November. And if you're wondering how you're going to do that, just go to SANZAF'S website. You'll find this event on their website, and then you can RSVP, inshallah. Standing by to talk to us, I hope, inshallah, is Dr. Lubna Nadvi regarding GBV and femicide issues. And we will wrap up by talking with another dynamic lady. She is Rizwana Asumad, an economist. And something that's just popped into my head right now is that I suppose unconsciously, Nasreen, my producer, has scheduled 3 powerful amazing women, Muslim women at that, to talk to us through this hour on News and Views. So good on you, Nasreen. And I look forward to talking to these other two dynamic ladies, inshallah.